Tristan made her way down the street and sidewalk as she mapped out the route she planned in her head. Zarina was trotting at her heels in an almost graceful way, seeming to elongate a few milliseconds more than was natural for an animal. More reason for Tristan to believe, she assumed. She couldn't help but think back to when she had went outside her home. The old streetlight that had been an irritating, flickering bother finally did the street a favor and shut off completely. It was always an eyesore for her whenever she went outside on a nocturnal outing, so she felt everything for her future could only hold good things from there. She passed by more and more people on the street the deeper she went into the city, earning way more looks from them instead of their interest getting stuck on the black cat that was supposedly following her. Well, she had to admit, she must have seemed like a freak for the dark cloak she wore instead of the usual dark jacket. It's not like the chill really bothered her much. She certainly enjoyed it a lot more than the disgusting humidity of daytime, especially when it got extremely bright. She hated the brightness most of all, though the bright, blaring LED lights on the buildings she passed and even the cars driving by didn't allow her to be comfortable. Pulling up her hood helped a little, but she hoped to reach the magic store soon. There was a reason she wanted to go to this certain store in particular. After all, she had done her research on general magic stores in her vicinity, and this one in particular was certainly the one to go. Upon finding two large gargoyle-looking statues fixated into the wall on either side of the small, poorly lit building, that was when she knew she found the place. She got to the old-looking door and pushed it open. She slightly winced when she heard a loud chime above her, and instinctively reached up to cup her ears. That was unpleasant, especially when she's been sensitive to loud sounds all her life as far back as she could remember. Definitely unpleasant as it continued to linger in her ears. However, she wasn't going to be deterred because of it, and that became certain when she completely stepped into the store. Everything was of a darker color scheme, and nothing really stood out to be an obnoxious, vibrant color that sole purpose was to stab at the eyeballs of those unsuspecting. The floor was also a comfortable velvet maroon rug instead of the run-of-the-mill tile flooring in so many establishments she'd had the misfortune of entering before. She almost felt bad for walking on it. The amount of dirt and filth that people coming and going would be tracking in. Whoever owned the store either must not even care about it, or doesn't really mind vacuuming probably daily. Speaking of, she had seen the reviews from the store's previous customers, and had found them to be nearly dismal. The owner of this magic store was listed to be spontaneous and likely off her rocker, so it was already a given that not a lot of people would come to this store often. So she would be safe from being put into any undesired social situation. All she really had to worry about was the kooky store owner. Aw man, how stressful. She blinked when she felt something brush against her leg, and peered down to see Zarina pressing her curly pelt against her. She was likely trying to console her of her reluctance, but she wondered to herself if animals were even allowed in the store. She slightly jumped at the sudden sound, and looked up to see a woman leaving her dark back room behind the dark mahogany counter. The woman certainly looked like a kook, with strange purple velvety robes over her frilly light blue dress, and large-rimmed black glasses over her pale freckled face. And finally, she had unique, eye-catching, frizzy, dirty blonde hair. As soon as the odd woman started giggling almost maniacally, Tristan's shoulders drooped. "A customer! I've never seen you in these parts before, so you must be new. You have a very unique aura. Is it a raindrop blue? How sad." Tristan shook her head at the odd comment, then decided to get straight to the point of her visit. "I'd like to purchase protection crystals." "Ooh!" The strange woman shot out from behind the desk, and immediately rushed straight for her, her larger-than-usual eyes pinned straight on her in an uncomfortable and creepy manner. She wanted to leave right then and take her chances with any of the other stores she researched. But before she knew it, the store owner circled her and quickly spoke in a croaky and an unnervingly excited way. "Since you're new to my store, I feel as though tarot reading is in order. Don't worry about the cost. It's on the house." No, I'm not interested in that. I just want my crystals. Tristan refused with half-lidded eyes, not wanting to waste any more time than needed. Nonsense, nonsense! There's more than enough time for anything, and I absolutely feel the divine pulling me to read your fortune, or anything you wish to ask about. I can answer. Please say yes. I'm sure you're incredibly interesting. Tristan sighed as the strange, exhausting woman began spouting off a frenzy of pleading and persuasions. Just as she was about to decline the offer again, she suddenly thought of her brother. If anything, it'd be useful to know of any events happening beforehand regarding him, just to be safe. All right, I'd like to have a reading on my brother. The woman paused for a moment, then squinted her blue bug eyes at the placid, dark-haired girl. Your brother? How boring. And here I was hoping for something interesting and personal. Now I see why you have dismal reviews. You're nosy. Well, she was way more than that, but Tristan was never much of an outspoken person in regards to asserting herself, so this was really the best she could do. But instead of being the least bit offended, the woman laughed in a creepy way before saying something weird as a response that Tristan didn't even care to listen to. He reluctantly followed after the strange woman to the back of her store and batted away the annoying beads hanging in the doorframe as she walked through. When she saw the room she was led to, she was even more unimpressed with it. It looked like the walls were covered with the similar velvet red carpet at the front entrance of the store, with the addition of rugs patterned in the very cliché witchy magic circles. In the middle of the small room, there was a circular table with the thin, star-patterned tablecloth draped over it. Atop the celestial table, there was a large cantaloupe-sized crystal ball situated in the very middle, held up on a silver stand, looking as though its appearance was to take after a cluster of bubbles. She was more than willing to walk straight out the door again, but she stayed for her brother. She had to know.